So yeah, this is the Good Morning Portugal radio show, and I had a request from my pal Walt in the UK, and he wants to know what's a good beach holiday in Portugal in August. And that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, I'm looking at best beaches. You can do your own searches for this, and there are many because, of course, Portugal is the western frontier of Europe, and to its west, to its left-hand coast, it's all coast. It's all littoral, and then you turn left at the bottom if you're traveling south for the sunnier Faro coast and the Algarve. So there's a lot of coast. It's some, and this is really quite confusing because some articles I've looked at, 1750 kilometers of coast. Another one says 850 kilometers of coast, 600 miles of coast. So which is true? And I'm wondering which measure they're using. Is it just the kind of straight up height of the country, if you like, or the length of the country, which might be more like the 850 kilometer end? Or is it tracing every inch of coastline, which then adds up? Is the word topographical, adds up to 1750. So obviously, if you walk the coast, it's going to be a very different length of journey to just flying north to south. So maybe that's part of the confusion there, why you see wildly different figures for how long the country is. But suffice to say, from the Costa Verde, as I recently discovered it was called, the green coast up in the north, down to the Algarve, it's all about the beaches. And first thing to say, I suppose, is that they are largely Atlantic beaches. So, you know, you're going to get some pretty dramatic. You've seen the pictures probably of Nazaré and these immense waves that surfers come to from all over the world. And I think that's happening around now. And here's a list of the beaches in Portugal. There are hundreds listed here. By area, by region, not the districts I show you for the weather, but by region. And the Azores have their own list of beaches as well. But look, incredible amount of beaches, certainly in the Algarve. Lisboa is also well represented in for beaches, and that's quite a good tip I should say to my friend Walt, who's looking for the beach holiday in August. Is if you go to Lisbon or near Lisbon, you get to go to the capital and have a look at Lisbon, and the beaches are not far away from there. One of my favorites is among them. But I will share, I will come straight out with it. And currently, I have to say, my favorite beach is San Martinho de Porto. And that is what I'm going to share the picture of it with you. A picture I took 2 years ago, possibly, or one of my many visits, one of the family's many visits to San Martinho de Porto. And it's not looking like a classic sunny beach, but you do get some very sunny weather there. You also get some misty, foggy mornings there, and you get dramatic Atlantic weather, as you can see from this picture as well. But it's such a beautiful, picturesque place, San Martinho de Porto. If you see here, if my cursor is showing up on the shared screen, that's a little neck of the scalloped bay. So it's a lovely, great big scalloped bay where you can do a little bit of rock pooling, have vast expanse of sand, children's playground, and the frontage that you might expect in a seaside town with all the restaurants and shops looking at this wonderful view. You go to that little opening there and you're out into the wild Atlantic. And there is a smuggler's passage as well that you can go through and see the drama of the Atlantic on the other side. So it's very protected. That's one of the wonderful things about San Martinho de Porto. It's very safe for kids. You're not up against those scary Atlantic waves, which you are, you know, for a lot of Portugal's western coast. It's pretty dramatic and dangerous sometimes. You really got to keep your wits about you with the, you know, going straight up and out to the Atlantic. And somewhere like this, and there are a number of bays and inlets and estuaries where you can enjoy a little bit more safety and tranquility, like San Martinho de Porto. But that's what's so great about this place. It is sheltered from the worst effects and the harshest drama of the Atlantic, and it feels like a proper beach holiday. We got stranded there. It was just such a brilliant thing to happen. We arrived in Tamar in Portugal at the time of the fires, and we got quite freaked out. And I said, to my wife Louisa, let's get with the kids to the coast for a few days and just feel safe by the coast. And I literally put a pin in the map in a place that looked like it was on the coast. That was the main thing. Fairly easy to get to, and a little bit interesting, and a little bit of intuition. Booked an Airbnb, and there are many, and there are hotels there as well in San Martino de Porto. And our camper van that we went in actually ended up breaking down in San Martino de Porto. And because for some reason, I had a very grown-up moment before we came to Portugal and booked the best insurance I could find for the camper van via the RAC, God bless them. And we were put up in a hotel within a few days of being in San Martino de Porto after the camper van was put on the back of a lorry and taken away, pretty much never to be seen again, it has to be said. But it gave us this wonderful introduction to San Martino de Porto. We discovered that friends from the UK had a house there, or a flat, an apartment, and I had to commend them on their very good taste. Lovely town as well, as you go back from the sea. Behind the beach, there's a wonderful restaurant that we really like called the Praia Cultural Bar, run by Anna. I think Pedro is her husband who does the cooking. And it's really great, really good food. They really care about the food and the wine and the cheese and the menu. It's really good and very friendly and a little bit different. And we've had some great times in there and meeting a few characters from around that area. The Silver Coast, we're on the Silver Coast now. So, principally, these are the Costa Verde at the top, Silver Coast in the middle, and then the Algarve, and up a bit further from the Algarve, Alentejo, where probably the most famous beaches are. And touring and finding the beaches is a pleasurable holiday in its own right. But if you just want to get on the beach and be in a hotel or an Airbnb near a beach, walking distance, San Martino de Porto, I think is good. My only reservation would be in August, it's going to be absolutely packed and heaving. But packed and heaving in Portugal is not the same as packed and heaving as Coney Island, is it? Or Brighton Beach in the UK. It's different here. The population, the standing population is 11 million people in Portugal. And that's not many people per square kilometre, if you like. The population density is low in this country. And it obviously is beefed up by tourism. There are places in Portugal that multiply by 5 times the population at the height of the holiday season. But if you get into San Martino de Porto and you like the vibe of a busy beach and all that atmosphere, and you don't want to drive, you just want to walk to the beach every day, San Martino de Porto is good. Get a booking in now, obviously, if you think this is a good place to go. Another beach that's become a favourite of ours. Let me tell you about some of my other favourites. San Martino de Porto is still number 1 for me. Number 2, I think, would be Fonte de Telha. We lived near Lisboa on the south of the river in an amazing kind of golf course complex. Didn't see that coming, but we ended up on a golf course complex called Aroeira. And there is a beach that you can get to from there in about, I went by bike one day in about 10 minutes. And it's an Atlantic front beach. And, with all of what that means, but some lovely bars, a little bit wild, a bit of sort of shanty building there, really characterful place. And the really cool thing about Fonte de Telha, you get down there and park, no problem if you're driving. But you can also get a bus from Lisboa city centre. I believe, if I remember rightly, because I've been on this bus once or twice, it's the 127. But check that. Check the bus service. But it goes all the way from Lisboa city centre to the beach. So you could stay in Lisbon and get the bus to the beach, and you cross the iconic 25th April bridge, 25 de Abril bridge, on the bus and then back again, and you could stay in Lisbon, or you could stay down near Fonte de Telha and catch the bus into the city if you want to change from the beach. So that's another favourite of ours. Brilliant for kite flying. The kids love it. One of the few beaches where I've seen a cat wandering around as well, but that's because people live there in quite a, not in a holiday home sort of way, but people have built homes down there. And it's part of a vast expanse of beach on the south side of the river from Lisboa, where people have lived, and grow food and just, have a pretty, I think it's probably a very natural and, wild existence on that beachfront. But there are miles and miles of different beaches there, each with their own ample car parking, each with their own bars and restaurants. And it's great to explore all of those. But the one we found was Fonte de Telha. So that's a good one to tell you about. See what I did there. And the other one is a recent favorite, is Toca Beach. And I'm just going to make sure I'm sharing the right screen with you for that. Let me see. Yeah, this is my son Digby, who's looking through the door at me now. And yes, seriously, if you have kids who are Minecraft players and they want to play online, Digby would dearly love to meet those guys. So, and here he is. Here he is pictured on the beach at Toca, which is a recent discovery for us. We're in central Portugal between Coimbra and Aveiro, and we have Mira Beach, which is the closest to us. It's not that far away. I think it's only like 20 kilometers away, but the drive still takes about 30, 40 minutes to get there. And we went there, and it's really nice. Mira Beach is nice, Mira. It gets busy, very popular with Scandinavians and Germans, I believe, at the height of the season. And fantastic chicken grill takeaway there. We went there the other Sunday and got a barbecue chicken and sat in the car and ate it by the beach there. But south of Mira is Toca, which is smaller and a little bit wilder, and it feels like a sort of a beach village rather than a beach town, which is what Mira is. And this picture here with Digby flying his kite in the setting sun of the day is Toca Beach, which is lovely. Took the dog there as well, and responsibly, of course, before anyone starts up with that. Dog poo is such an emotive issue for people, isn't it? But yes, I clear up my dog poo. Okay. I'll move on. It's still breakfast time, but this is Toca Beach, Tocha, and it's very quiet and homely. There are bars and restaurants there, and set back from the beach is a lovely market if you stay there. And there are uniquely Portuguese holiday and camping sites there as well, which are very interesting to go to, and what look like some wooden holiday cabins at Toca as well. So I would recommend Toca to you. So those at the moment are my favorite three. I mean, I've been down to the Algarve. It's fantastic. And you kind of know what you're getting in the Algarve. A bit more, golden sanded, shiny white buildings, lots of bars and restaurants kind of vibe in the Algarve, or golf resorts and that sort of thing. Not to be overlooked, by the way. The Algarve is great. No doubt about it. And you can find wilder and less densely populated and visited beaches in the Algarve. And then you work your way around the coast, head up into the Alentejo. And another secret I'm told, and I'm desperate to go there myself, is I think it's called Vila Nova do Mil Fontes, which is a Portuguese secret. Not anymore. We're sharing that. But I really want to go to that beach in Alentejo, Vila Nova do Mil Fontes. But my top three to share with you at the moment are San Martinho de Porto at number one, Fonte da Telha, because you get to see Lisbon as well, at number two, and recently finding Toca Beach near us. And, part of the reason we like it is because it's near us and it's easy to get to. But it's very sweet and easygoing, cool place, tranquilo, calma in Toca Beach. So, Walt, I hope that helps. But I think more people will be chiming in with their favorite beaches. It's one of those sorts of subjects that you're not going to get a definitive answer, because there's a lot of variables. There's also the time of year, and there are people's own requirements of what they want from a beach. Some people love the packed beach, don't they? And the vibe, the busy vibe of the beach, and everyone coming at the beginning of the day, getting their pitch, staying there all day, wandering up to have something to eat, or one of the party going to get some food from the supermarket and bring it back, and all that sort of stuff. And, you guard your little bit of the beach there. Some people like that. Other people want a very wild thing. They want, the wind in their hair. They want the wildness of the Atlantic. The great thing is it's all here. The beaches here are fantastic, and they're very varied, and there's many of them. So that's your challenge, is you're spoilt for choice. So, maybe think about coming a few years running so you don't have to pinpoint it to one. But certainly San Martinho de Porto is worthy of consideration, notwithstanding all the things I've just mentioned. So